because why Jesus was on the cross is because he's because he wanted to take all our sins away from us. He died on the cross to take all our sins away from us. And Jesus had to die on the cross to take away our sins, and that would also mean that sacrifices would no longer be offered, because that would be the last and the greatest sacrifice of all time. Well, before he was crucified on the cross, Jesus went to the Pilate. And Pilate said, "Are you the Son of God?" And he said, "Yes." And then they said, "Blasphemy! He claims to be God." And Pilate said, "Well, I'm going to send him to Herod." So he sent him to King Herod. And King Herod said, "Are you the Son of God?" But Jesus said nothing. And then he just sent him back to Pilate. And Pilate said, "Well, this is the Sabbath day. I released a prisoner on Sabbath day. How about I keep Barabbas and give you him?" And they said, "No, give us Barabbas. Crucify him. We don't want him." The people were saying, "Crucify him, crucify him." Then they took the cat of nine tails, and it had iron, rocks, glass in it, and then they whipped it on his back. And then they put a robe around him, a purple one, over his beaten back. And then they put a thorny crown on him. And then they turned him back to Pilate. And Pilate didn't even recognize him. And Pilate said, "What should I do with him?" And they said, "Crucify him!" And then Pilate commanded that he be crucified, and went and washed his hands with some water and soap, and said, "The guilt isn't on me, but on you people." So he got crucified, and then he was in the tomb, and then one person said, "I don't want him to stay on the cross." So he took him down, and he brought him to a tombstone in the cave, and they pushed the wall so no one can get in. Someone pushed a boulder in front of the door, and some Roman soldiers came to guard it, and some guards were guarding the cave so no one would get in there and steal the body. And then something happened. An earthquake. There was a wave coming, and they just knocked down into... No, it was an earthquake. And no, they just fell down, but they weren't dead. And the soldiers went up after he risen and walked away, and they went and told the Sanhedrins, and they got money to say that someone went and stole his body and not tell the truth. In 3 days, the stone was rolled away by an angel, and 3 women came, and they looked inside. There was 2 sad women, and Mary came, and
looked in the tomb and Jesus wasn't there. He went to the disciples and tell the news. And then they came racing there and looked in the tomb. And he wasn't there.
But they could not find him. So they went to tell Peter and John. When Peter and John found him there, they raced. John got there first, but didn't go inside and just looked. And then Peter got there and went right inside to see an angel on the side his head was, and another angel on the side his feet was, with folded cloth. And then
Mary started to weep. And then Jesus came down, and Mary saw him and stopped weeping.
And he said, "Mary." And then he stopped crying and wanted to hug him, but she didn't.
He still had those red spots on his feet and hands.
Back in the Garden of Gethsemane, there was still Judas, and so he went and purchased a rope and purchased some wood and built a hanging thingy, and he hanged himself. And when Jesus appeared to the disciples after he rose, once they were eating in a room, and he appeared, and they said, "Lord." But one disciple wasn't there, and he was McDonald or something. Thomas wasn't there. And they said, "Thomas, he is alive." And he said, "No, he's not. He's dead." And they said, "No, he's not." And then one day Thomas was with other disciples when Jesus appeared again. And he said, and then he looked and saw the scars. And then they said, "But first let's make sure he's not a ghost." And so they gave him honey and meat, and he ate it. And then they were like, "He's not a ghost." So they knew he was alive.
He rose again the third day. The gods fell down, and an angel came down and rolled the stone away, and Jesus came walking out on the third day. That's all I can think of. I don't remember all of it now. That's all I can think of too. I know. That's all I remembered. Yes, that's. Then that. Then that.